Hey, my name's Robert Wilson, and I was part of the team that conducted the Cosmic Microwave Background Radiation Experiment, also known as the Physcis and Wilson's Radio Telescope. Um, my collaborator, Arno Pinzeus, and I carried out this experiment while working at the Bell Labs in Holmdel, New Jersey. Our work used a large horn-shaped antenna radio telescope that was specifically designed for receiving microwave signals. What were we trying to find? We were working on a sensitive microwave receiver to map radio signals incoming from the Milky Way, but we kept detecting a mystery hum, buzz that was coming from all directions, and even after removing all possible sources of error, including even pigeon poop, we still found this hum. We did things like suppressing interference with liquid helium and installing a new horn, like an updated horn to receive the signals with higher quality. And we had no success with any of those efforts. The hum remained. So once we got rid of all sources of interference, we realized that the noise wasn't coming from terrestrial interference, but rather it was a noise or signal coming from space. And this noise was cosmic microwave background radiation, which I'll talk a little bit more about the significance of that in a moment. So where did this project or experiment occur? It occurred in 1960 at the Bell Labs complex, as I said, in Holmdel, New Jersey. We used that horn-shaped antenna, which they built in about 1960. It stood about 20 feet tall, and it was actually meant to be used for a satellite system earlier called ECHO, but with the advent of a Tesla satellite, it became obsolete in its intended function, and me and my collaborator, Arno, took advantage of this and saw the antenna's potential for measuring signals from the Milky Way, or radio signals in general, rather. So what were some significant events that were happening around the world at the time? So in fact, I was under a lot of pressure during this experiment because it was at the height of the Cold War, the mid-1960s. Our discovery was made in 1963. June 1963. And so, that's an intense time to be an American scientist. There was a lot of pressure on us to break ground on the frontiers of science in order to further the American agenda. So who else was involved in the project? As I mentioned earlier, Arno Pinzeus was my primary collaborator throughout this experiment, and he is a German-born physicist who graduated from Columbia University, and he actually received a doctorate from there in 1962, the same year I received my doctorate from the California Institute of Technology. We also collaborated with a man named Robert Dick. He was a Princeton physicist who had been working on something more related to our discovery than we were, in fact, which was the cosmic microwave background radiation. And he had actually theorized that background radiation, which came out to be about 3 Kelvin, was what was permeating the universe if in fact the Big Bang had occurred, which our research indicated that it had. So my role in the project, besides being a glorified janitor for pigeon poop on this brutalist cornucopia type deal, was in eliminating all potential sources of error. So it was clear that this signal was significant. It did have some higher significance than just regular interference from everyday phenomena. And that required using my technical skills and knowledge from my PhD, which I got in physics. So what impact did my project have on the physics community? It was pretty groundbreaking, actually. So our investigation of that mysterious radio signal related to Robert Dick's research, which was the cosmic background radiation, provided concrete evidence for the Big Bang Theory. And this was such a significant discovery that I was awarded one half of the Nobel Prize in physics several years after this discovery. Um, and how old was I at the time of my discovery? I had just turned about 26. I had turned about 26 about 6 months prior. So that ended up being a double-edged sword for me, to have made such a significant discovery so early into one's career. It's going to launch my career forward, but it also meant that my contributions to science had sort of peaked only a couple years after receiving my doctorate. So yeah, thank you.